Yada Onyankopon ase se enen so waka ye hono bo ye ho ban e de na be hyem enwumre ye wesia ade a yato din godly adornment me ene bibi ti me show slice no eti mekasa e de afri ha ndi se opeso otwo bibia na wabo modern se obetwo e de afri ha em se and a one day topic it's mebo modern say mewie na topic we any the first time wa yesia ade yemudo do na oha no mo a mse yetie adesua e de afa sa de ye kan ho asem no godly adornment it's basically yakasa afa your dressing ho na kasa no godly the entire kind of godly adornment no say we say ye di nkomo afa wona a oye Christopher ho kwan a ye besi afa ye ho say ye a Christopher. Now when we talk about this topic in Pempi no there are a whole lot of issues na ebinom mostly no people will talk about people will think of you telling me what to wear as about chem say we na mention eti aso you can say so for say mama shata dey we until sometimes the chat topic now these are some of the challenges I any child and yenya and I'm sure say most people will be asking me question eti person say shata dey we yen she we and I say I know those questions will come when we are tackling this topic those are the expectations. Okay, now adeba konso na heard this topic say na say a man no do na when it comes to dressing. Why always focus about women? That's one issue when it comes to dressing. This time some years ago the nanka bad dressing and man shada and come on it's true we focus on women because they have problem when it comes to dressing, and when they have problem the whole world will have problem. And when women have problem with dressing, the world have problem. That is it. And when women have problem with dressing, sin continues to go rampant. That is the problem. So that is why we focus mostly on women. And today I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to focus on women, but not women alone. But the whole thing is when we are talking about dressing, the truth of the matter is that about 80% of the discussion goes to our ladies, and about 20% goes to the men because men man shouldn't have problem or dressing at home. And even if they have, any effect no and should and transit to the other gender. So bad dressing affect the whole world. But bad dressing and should have some. But whether or bow, whether bear mouth. Wahu fanya ekutia onyankopon asem afen so ade ba ko a na yehu enso so se na be kai no ade ba ko na ha adwen aka ye say people believe say dressing utin fa dressing church obi na suban akasa ifa komem say nim za there. We last 3 days na me office na ye lady on a share ye hono no and I mean di nko na also be so by Church of Christ na on to me and I say there I say oba you be preach about adwamammo you be stand dressing so there onim say me dey ya ye be ka ho asem and no one no person so ehye and I say na so our PS no me no or so about you be ka so yi into oma. And she went ahead and said, "Sir, ono do no hu ni say nyamesom wa akomem say na etaka no no eti no ni kwase e hwe na dressing so kase bia onye." So I was like, when we are talking about beauty, okay, beauty enye about inner or outer, but beauty, definition of beauty no, it's all about where it starts and where it ends. Sa Bible no canon. Now po kasa fa ahofe titu enua ma no e wani na po kasa fa ahofe ho a o kasa e de free baby a e free na baby a e kodru etu otimi ye ne sa otimi sha ase free baby free na baby kodru no e bedu obepepe ma me chem ni ti ameka sa Dressing or modesty is an inner beauty in our outward expression. Someone tell us here. Inner beauty in our outward expression. Ultimate can chem say what share or babia or share miniskirts and say when you go ho. Now then kawa ton na na PS na so na hwene. Na o se na kuma mu eye fita na kuma mu de o inna wa dress ye but outside they undress ye. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? No. Enti obi ka say oh modesty e wa akomam eni eniswa e wrong. De akomam no ayema no na e dey e ba abonten. Okay. So that is one thing. Now, when we are living in our room, ye pie akwa abonten, we just say ena nwumwe ye nyina ye bi. Me kwa me ye. There's a question I busa ye ho. What must I wear? When you all dress up, or musa no, then I mean she. And pa OP musa no. It's a common question we say. And I me pay call baby me now say ye fast go fie go change me home. Me do I say me hu atare kwa me she e dey aba gina acha ade. So then I mean she and even pabo akwa I say me she black, me she brown. Me she black and I say brown. So the issue of dressing has always been a conscious decision. For I say it say ya ho fa e ya ade a ye planning ne aye. So when we ask ourselves, say, "Ede na mensha," it's a legitimate question, and it's a question we ask ourselves every day as human. You pay your dress. It becomes a dear tal na mensha, dear pabo na mensha. So then, when we ask ourselves this question, the answer to this question, no, ena enable home komo. The answer to this question said, "Dear na mensha no," has to be on the certain factors. I will say, "Jina and near maybe so." Ena what me? I decided. Na eba ye ni pa femu a ye wone ma hodo a yegina so edin kan baby a ye kro where we are going. Asori na me kro eti ma me hye de better am ko todwe ye nu ama anom bi oh we the girls ye pie ye ko KFC ye ko didi ye hyensi ye kan say sere ho ne emfa nko. So sometimes, most of the times, our answer to what must I wear is where we are going. It may be a year corner, and sometimes it decided sending yes in dressing. Yes. So mostly our adornments are dependent on where we are going. Yeah, quite so dressing uncle. Yeah, quite formal dressing uncle. Yeah, quite wedding dressing uncle. Yeah, quite year dressing uncle. Yeah, quite party dressing uncle. Yeah, quite poolside dressing uncle. So it's that is it. But it is not wrong. I'm not saying you say, oh my baby, I walk or actual send a old dress and you're wrong. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that that's one of the factors. They also address it. Number two, who we are going out with. They are in the APA. One a date, One the boy APA dressing con. So the mammy super dressing con. Now say your visitations were or now solid for visitations are dressing con. 80 one I know one enam addressing con. Wait a me if you guys here come baby. Now Master Mishu na my say any day to Uncle Pecky Kibini and the any JC video could out your hold on, don't let me ask for 7. And it's funny. But I've told them, I said, bro, met me no one obey the dress in PBR. Mean dresses are. What I say. Most people see your dressing and they see who you are. Obi I share me many friends now, hey, where you suffer. It mostly happens. My name is friends now, me could do baby. I'm say oh we so for because baby call SG more na ye kodidi eti nipa na obe serve no say ye try say na oba na osemo pede en eno no suggest say club or we or na so kan say so for dey bi oba no ma baro I'm say ye rade wu me no ma baro na ba ko say about dey ni apanyin ni star so that is it. So people see your dressing and yeah enti one I anyone enante apie and so e decide your dressing at the maye. After sometimes weather condition, send the weather and see iron, and so decide addressing. A shoe will my water, and I who so water, it's weather knows it decide your dressing at the MIA. It's the best change and say the fact is that sometimes we base on to decide what to wear include the weather condition, the place we are going, the I can't say the people we are going out with, and another one so the day. Come here say sometimes the day influence yahofa. Sunday Sunday we share and comfort dress and different. Sunday pa who Sunday na hofa no Friday you ready unko. So sometimes the day also affects the attire we wear and also the occasion and also affected. Now you will say when we ask this question, what must I wear? Are these factors the most important factors? I was a decide and I say a change the answer is yes or no. Sir, the aka can no. Maka say enya bone. So we share baby I walk so na the address. We hear nipa na nam so na the address. Any situation and occasion I walk, any day, any Sunday man, where than Sunday enya bone. But do you think those are the main factors also share na the address? Yes or no? Just a quick answer. Yes, yes, no, no. No. Yes. Yes. Okay, mpebema bako. Robert. Yes or no? No. Okay. Okay. Mpempe phone bako. Yeah, yes or no? Yes. Yes. Okay. Now, when we allow those things to decide our attire for us, then we will never please God. Yes, so you go point. Mame can't sing be. Church sister will say I'm question about dressing here. I'm sure say question kebeba ba medikaka. Me ko pool site. Me ko dware pool. Me share bikini and I mention them. If you are saying say baby I corner to decide for us, then we justify that through of us. Now you boob him was hard and I'm a eti oh hey say any baby ko pool side, any baby ko pool side or kwa eh they are obeshe bikini. The truth is bikini na motion. Edi dware so mu no. Today I will use some of the terms be. Any more undergarment or your panties size and then the type pe and I'm a say tell me what. The model kata more cleavage no. Any more bra pe and I'm a very good. Okay. So if they will pool site now because they pool site now it's not the idea me ko dware in so munti. I was saying okay to wear that attire. What's the question? There, Bano. Me okay because I know you're so. And I'm dware. Does it make you naked or you're not naked? Some can say most 80% of the discussion never come in your man. When you are a naked, not saying naked. But you're naked, not saying naked. I want to hold. Minister, but you're naked, not saying naked. Wako poo and I'll go dware. Poo the okwa a bikini. And I'll share na meboa. The na no. And wako pool side and I wako ko and I wako lake and I'll go dware. And I wako then comes out wako 20 cedis. It waka ta no akata ha. People say who be bia de aka nyina wo no mo. And I wako dware. A poo. It's and yakọ. That's the occasion. Am I naked or I'm not naked? You are naked. You are naked. Okay. So you see, that is where the problems comes in. When we allow occasions to decide for us, then we will never please God. And sometimes no, the name be justify. Okay. That same Obana or share sa atade top rekata na okonsum na oye okay with all the men around that occasion that day. That time no not drink out close see say only naked. That same obakona can never wear sa atade corner baby I even remember 2 page na. So say e wiase nyansa any yamopo nyansa difference wom. It occasions no ma say be ye etimi for let me put it that way. Because we allow the occasions to decide what to wear. But if you want the right answer to what must I wear, then we should ask ourselves, say, what does God says I should wear?
deɛ na awurade nyankopɔn sɛ menyɛ dɛn menhyɛ na deɛ ɛna ɛbɛsɔ onyankopɔn ani ɛti naa no odiyifoɔ sɛ ɛni onipa nsɛm sɛ ɔbɛtoto n'akwan na ɔyɛ onyankopɔn nsɛm. So the decisions and the directions we take, we should ask God. If obiara musa nyankopɔn a yɛnyɛ kristofoɔ no deɛ yɛbɛbusa onyankopɔn. Don't come and ask me question. Say it be Christo ni ba ma me nko pool site na. Don't ask me that question. But what we are talking about is dressing has to be decided by God. Say about dress here, decision to dress no, I will say ejina onyankopɔn as eso. Jeremiah 10 verse number 23. Jeremiah 10 verse number 23. Jeremiah 10:23.
Erade menhunu sɛ onipa kwan enni ne nsɛm eni ɔbɛɛma nsɛm sɛdeɛ ɔnam a obetutu nanamo.
Okay, it was say onipa kwan, the ways of the God is not in his hands, the of a man is not in his hand. It onipa kwan enni ne nsɛm sɛdeɛ otutu nanamo. It no bibi biara yɛbɛyɛ sɛ yɛ kristofoɔ ɛfa yɛ ho fa mu no ɛwɔ sɛ ɛwɔ onyankopɔn nsɛm na yɛbusa yɛ kasa adeɛ na yɛbusa ho sɛ etu onyankopɔn does he cares about what we dress? Now yes sir, okay about saying is dressing. Does God cares? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, that's very good. It's yen ya say upon a care there. And yeah, now addition very easy because if God cares, everything God cares, then it's in God's hands. Say the Bible not canon. If don't care about your dressing there, then what must we wear? Then the answer should come from what does God talks about dressing? It's a baby no. Say my no ni edi kan a. Say nyankopɔn ade a wakyerɛ sɛ yɛnyɛ ene di kan a baabi a yɛkɔ no decide ma yɛn de yɛnhyɛ. But baabi a yɛkɔ no irrespective of where we are going, we will dress well. If God's answer to dressing and a LED it doesn't matter who you are working with. And any partner na man say enamfo ano na be decide amount, God will decide for you. If God's decision is what we are basing on to dress, then the occasion or the place you are going will not decide for you, or the day will not decide for you. Name omo onyankopon na ebe decide amayen. So that is what we should understand first. Okay. If God cares about dressing. Now, me say addition yesua pen it in a very sample form. It near maybe a church upon care about our dressing is number one. From beginning of mankind. But upon bo nipa. Obo nipa na nipa enim se omu ye naked. Na omu ko di aduaba no. Na omu di aduaba no we Adam ni Eve edu aduaba no Bible say omu hunu se no mo yedai. Omu da adagya. Na Adam ni Eve hunu so omu da adagya no. Bible no say omu kotete brodoma ahaban e de ye enkatanim efai. Okay. Eti em say brain enkenka kakra na ye fantin de masse. In Genesis, the book of Genesis. Yen where chapter 3, yen kan verse number 7.
Na wombe no any biebie.
Na wombe no any biebie.
Na uhunu se woda adagya.
Eti tell my apo bo onipa no. Sabre no na nipa nim so mu da adagya because their eyes were not open. Bible go there yaba no omoni bie no we hunu so mu da adagya. Now here the Bible use said no omu ye naked. Okay? The Greek word no was total nudity. Total nudity ni say on hwehwe. You can adagya. You can say adagya. Adagya omu you know. Okay? Your nakedness and we have nudity. Nudity is more like on hwehwe. And a nakedness, you know, sometimes no bit much some undergarments, but it still look naked. But so be pants and a boxer. No, everyone say sporter. Anyway, no nama. Because you're naked and I'm most of be boss sporter no nama. Because you're naked. So, It's nakedness is not always about total nudity. It's no bra. We money be the woman say na omo enhwehwe omo da adagya. So the Bible used that they were naked. Pastor yen to aso.
Na opempam brodo maha yo enkatanimu fai.
Okay, it has a Bible so opempam brodo maha ban. Eye enkatanim efai. It do mudi eye no was enkatanim. Enkatanim no. Eno na eye you can say the Greek word we see is apron. Apron. Now I think the Greek meaning was apron. but it was called kagora. Yeah, kagora. Kagora no idea bi a shower transparent. Utimi hu the omentimi kata wo hu nyina. It omu tete board ma haban. And omu de ye bibi fire. Kata omo. That was the first time we saw fashion design. That was the first in history. I who fashion designers. Adam and Eve were the first fashion designers we can talk about. So they were the first fashion designers. And their design was to make an apron with a material fake leaves. It's sometimes we have a picture of Adam and Eve. Once a wakata no wakata so omuniama boarding pam tadia na doors ntino also kata. That's what Eve did, and Adam also covered this part. Let's continue.
Verse 8. Now what say Eradi Nyankopon ka se wonam true ho enwumre ebrem no. No dipa na yi ko hunte fi Eradi Nyankopon anim.
Edi guys, here story na o makata o mo no muti Eradi Nyankopon no ko hinta fi Eradi anim.
Ewo true mu ho nuanim. Na Eradi Nyankopon fi onipa na o ka kire ne se won. Na o se mete won ka wo true mu ho no bisroi. If se me dadaja.
Very good. Eti Nyankopon be frɛ Adam. Adam akohinta, one dey akohinta. Na was na Adam wo hen. O se mete won ka wo true mu no misroi. If se me dey me dadaja. First time we read adaja na omu nhwehwe. Na omu so mu dadaja don ko bibi kata o mo. After Nyankopon ba be frɛ o mo Adam se dadaja. Some more tell about what can we draw from here? Dear the bit ehun free ase. A Bible class until with makasa. Adam mo any bi mo so mu da adaja. O ma ko te bodo ma ha ban ayen katanim. Enka katanim ya de kata yanim. After Nyankopon ba ye na ofre o mo Adam say ya da adaja. But you na bit ma aka afri ase no. Robert.
Still now we are naked.
Okay, over to my address. Still now you're naked. Okay, very good. Okay. So Robert aboy akra. No. Okay, very good. So they were not covered. Very good. Okay. And the interesting answer na de my name. Interesting.
Na okasa hwan na ka kire wo se wo dadaja. Dua me hye wo se ni bie na wadi. Na odipa ne se oba wo de na ebeka me ho no ono no ma me. Dua no abedi na me die. Na Awurade Nyankopon ka kire oba ne se adan na wo yesa.
Okay, you can verse 21 on being in
verse 21. Na Awurade Nyankopon yo enwoma atade ma onipa ne ne yere e de hye won.
Answer. That's where the second fashion designer came into the scene. Etu Onyankopon ko fa enwan ata enwoma. Na wo se wo de share omo. But for say he covered them. Adam wo de na so mo de ye katanim ye dey F5, they were not covered. So God's principle of dressing is to cover. Not just putting on anything, but it should cover you. Now, cover where? Baby, Adam say go on ma still no mo so mu ya de jano. All those parts were covered. Dressing is not God's principle of dressing. It's not just about putting something on. Is it near Robert's car? And you can put something on and you still be naked. It's nakedness. It's not about complete nudity. But when you are not covered, you are naked. Wait ma sha atade bi. Atade no na draw body features be bia. You are not covered. You are naked. So when your attire partitions your body, because the partitions it draws all your body contours, your body curvatures, all the characteristics are revealed in the attire. When Christians dress like that, we are not covered, but we have partitioned our body, and it is nakedness. It's in our principle of the chair, Adam and Eve no, was to cover. Now, you have material so in our present here as the fashion design technique. Now, a material, it was an opaque material. Because it be opaque, I dare show my own the womb. It's Christian ni ba wa dress, la Christian be ma wa dress. Atane show no. The cover on Nakasano. You show my etimi undergarment inside. You are not covered. The material is wrong. It is not the right material for you because God gives material, and in Genesis, God gave material, and the material He gave was a material that covers, and it was not a transparent material. It is a kind additional was to give a detailed information of how God wants us to dress. Sending out upon a person dressing. You better God cares about dressing. Now, I know so. Abraham upon let you suffer also no. We are upon designing another attire. So God is number one fashion designer. It is all dressing now say a fashioner. You don't even understand fashion because the mother or the father of fashion is God. The father of modest fashion is God. And if you are a Christian and you want to be modest, then go to the modest fashion designer. The mother of miniskirts, your friend Mary Kwan. She's the mother of miniskirts. And I think the last time I just had the principles are already designing miniskirts. Okay? So if you want to go immodest, then go to Mary Kwan. But if you want to go modest, go to God. Because He has the material, He has the right material, and He has the right design. Now, in the book of Exodus chapter 28, so we have verse 1 to verse 48, the way I see designing, it was very interesting. And you know, God designed it in such a way, say, O designing no, Emma, even baby omu eti, baby omu tino, any the way omanamu to be say no, and the rest of design is it. I'm telling you, or catch you almost say, omunye etam, emmo omu asene, and some mashadi na guso. Now I don't say no more they say, but omuko today. Or say if you omo esisi emesi omu actually. Okay, that's what the word use from the waist to the knee. And what say now in the inside. Asofo no say omu e temple no so akoya members no form eti the way no flow steps e ko gina soro e kasa na nkofo no ate no form it because they will take the steps into no say ade no nduru oyi a e be ma ya hu de say omu inside eti was say ko form say be unpeja omu na unhu de say inside. That's the design God made. That's how God describe how omu essential matter no clear the length. Say enfi omu waste ekosi omu you can say any you share you can verse Exodus 28 no verse 42.
Exodus 28 verse 42.
But can verse 5 now and you verse 42 no.
Verse 5. Na onfa sika ani bibre ene asawa a ebredum ene kojan ene asawa fita enye.
O say any day.
Na onfa sika ni bibre ni asawa a ebredum ene kojan ene asawa fita enyo.
And you okay, no share the material no from no lining na ombe no. I think say one most air lining no you fit cotton and ombe not just a cotton ni we na omo enfa. Verse number 42.
Na yo enwura pieto ema wo.
Afa ye enwura pieto ema wo say ni pieto. Onya enwura pieto ema wo na.
Na enkata wo na deja so.
Na enkata wo na deja so.
Emfiri wo na sene enkosi wo nsere echi.
Okay, eti emfiri wo na sene enkosi wo na sere echi. From the waist to other version you see the thigh, but not the thigh, the knee. We'll say the is the knee. That's why God described it. You know, God designed how na lewi aso for here. After movie no matter say batakari asa e dey account. Now all this says that God cares about dressing, not just because you want to dress them, but He wanted them to be modest. That is it. It's not any kun say see a fire home. Baby, I'm pocket for so munsi muntade cleanliness was something God was so much concerned about. Munsi muntade. God talks about it. You have to wash your body and other stuff. Now, Omunfa, I think say roots any now say Naomi. Abra na Naomi epese roots ekoshia bema opese osono ni no ware no. also on dressing na on sra na on fa infinity. Like you have to be presentable ampa root ekoyesa na also be manani. Dressing is very, very important. Eti enye oba ne se hu gu ho e na eye oba be ma ebe so be man ni mo oba wa dress yi e na ebe so obe ma edi. Eti God cares about our dressing. Na ade am pese ye hwe na ye de addition enche de be we no. E say ya ho fa edi nkomo. The way we dress communicates. That it's one of the things we should consider. The way we dress communicates. Na ya ho fa edi nkomo e kire onyankopon. It communicates to God. Because God cares about our dressing communicates to God. How our inner intent is all about. Medical guy say mo bi na da say dressing there and I say suban there e wakomemu there be me hu oba wa dress immodest na ne se hu go wa sese asomade won be 5 wa ha na wa bobo ne hunu mu ni adama ka chen say o e bia na komemu timi ko ware no. I will never make that mistake, to be honest with you. And I think be me bia ono so pe oba obabo no wa babo mu no will never make that. I'm not saying say oba onye sa bia no papa, but eno itself no kra no is a negative can say I mean a red flag to you as the man. You are telling me say what's a mini skirt wabo waso achi no hunachi abo katerema and I didn't ka wa gu nine, but I shouldn't consider those things because inner beauty. No, it is never true. It can never be true, because modesty is an inner beauty in an outward expression. It's an inner beauty which is expressed outward. Say what does he will inside are no problem with the outside. If the inside is dressed well, then you will dress well, definitely to reflect on the outside. So that is it. So our dressing communicate to God. God asked the Israelites to clothe themselves before they come to him. In the book of Exodus chapter 19, verse number 30. For so our dressing communicates to God. In Genesis chapter 39, verse 1, said they can have for designer and Tadema Aeon as of one. Now, in 1 Chronicles chapter 15, verse number 25 to 27, David in so now Konya him. Now, David Bible says David dress ye. David dressed well. Yeah, 1 Chronicles chapter 15 now. 1 Chronicles chapter 15, verse number 25 to 27.
1 Chronicles 15:25. O say, "Ena David any Israel penny name pempem so asafo no hini si mu koi. Se wo kofa Awurade apamadaka no afiri Obed Edom fie aba ani giemu. Na Onyankopɔn boa Lewifo a wɔso Awurade apamadaka no. Na wɔde anantwini ne nso na adwani ne nso bɔ afɔdeɛ. Na David ehye asawa enwura batakari. Ono ni Lewifo a wɔso adaka ne nyinaa. Ene adwomtofo no, ene asafo hene Kenia a odi emaso no so ewo adwomtofo nim.
Okay. When they were going to meet God, David saw the need to dress well, because God cares about dressing. Our dressing communicates to God. It means say ye per se so Nyankopon ni a, our dressing is very important, because our dressing communicates to God. Number 2, our clothing communicates something to ourselves. Yeni ayankasa, your dressing e kasa chere. It mostly affects our self-esteem. Ekche sene yakasa no yesiji ehudi. Anything they see ehunu yen ho. Now, I think my master example we say ohada. Time na me wo campus no, me wo university no. Na me obi a me call lectures bia ma dress ye. E ko le kwa no mo free say me tie. Me teaching assistant. Na emre bi na me friend bi ne atete ni aketwa eto forms a opeso ba university. It now be here lecturer amana sign ne forms na ma no. Na oronso no okot class bia na openika shepa nika na wa share sa we kwa back we say ha na wa hye na the book wata no book bi wi amoamo no kura no na okọ enti ne nua no ba school mu ho no ma opese ono no di nanim cause na university or campus so wo bo an ko pe lecturer e ba na sign on the kennel so lecturer endorse a it counts eti wana unua wa ma fill form na wi wana oba o sign e be so bo na say dey asem a osem a obese ka me di nanim na me di nua nanim ko lecturer we ho no na okọ sign na yi na so so me ne wana o campus a na lecturer no che ya dey kokoi also missionika any anything you see our dressing communicate to ourselves. Your dressing you can doubt it or believe it is true. Ada dress you know unantia who believe in yourself. And I remember what dress you who believe in yourself. Me man so ada bo boss you to know unantia you different. The way I vim ni wa boss you about tie. Unantia you different. Dan say wa jeans bi ne kiki bi ni nam meboa. So your dressing communicate to yourself. Sometimes we dressing show baby abetima boy ura. If you have dressed well, oh boy ura baby awunso. I'm telling you the truth. So our dressing communicates to us. It tells us where we can go and the relevance we are. It improves our self-esteem. And it indicates the importance you attach to what you are doing. So dressing communicates to ourselves. It's all per se. They believe in themselves. They can talk to people. They can approach anywhere. Let them dress well. Dressing communicate to who you are. Sometimes it tells you who you can even approach. Our dressing communicates to ourselves. And the last thing I'll talk about, dressing here, our dressing communicate to others. Our dressing communicates to others. Our clothes communicate to others who we are and the kind of person we may be. It is sometimes we share your home. You cannot change it because it is part. You cannot change it. One day, interview, and as I call American embassy, I call visa. Now, I say, actually, Nick can eat falafel with the no. So sometimes, because we know that our dressing communicate to others what kind of person we are, need to know. It do baby a share a professional. We are never say dressing professional. But why don't you make yourself dress good every time? Now, we change say, if do baby now, what dress ye? Unya oba wa bone na so achi ne yi se wokọ adwuma interview a obeyi sa na mani nyina because last few days bi na doctor bi oyo fam say wa bie enwuma be 5 na osem ya mempe workers ma no ohia HND I think say no me ne be ka say nya announcement kwa ma me ohia obobi a obi HND na accounting be pa be 2 na obi a obi SHS afi na wo pay adwuma. Enti make cousin baako won so ye HND no na me ka che ne se oyo ba me ka se omra na me fa no ko interview o se e se ko anu akọ hye ne more red ni ade paint no red ni ade wasan abone na so achi tunti me ntwen okoyi wi a na aba interview no so ohun eto no akasa dress the dress na ka che se on sen fata. So your dressing communicate to you and you know it communicate to others. Who you are and who you may be. We cannot underestimate that fact. Don't say, so I share my dress and so they are judging me. Yes, people can look at your dress and judge you because your dress communicates to others. So, and Kofua, they are good in using your dress to address you. Okay, I say dress the way you want to be addressed. Dress the way you want to be addressed. Dress is a frail war. Mate for mate for. Na se udu tech junction na omu pa ko te de na o ba na wa dress kama udi nko hello boss okwai ana wa sofo besa front ni abi ama na se wa hwehwehwe o kick ni ade bi atechechechire ni ade eh nigga me wa yo killer na so abon rasta ni ade tattoo na say o ye killer me unko yo boy So you're a senior man, so they like using. So don't underestimate those things. Men fan tra. When people call you name, it works for you. When people call you name, we say hey, it was for you. I never call my many dressing all the time. I want to dress well. It's how people address me. And I'm telling you, men can't find to me, but most at times, Obishan baby, they use the word boss. Most of the time, boss. Before cat or there, yo boss. Me call baby, yo boss. Because of the way you put yourself. And I know, say, you address you, man, some people call us those names. Tell us so I suffer, and say, you can't solve no. You can't solve no. You addressing your call. You are crying, so I call you suffer. Any idea? So, you also you director, you manager, any idea? Now, I think one time we share Chenny Nika, and I'm able to do a tech junction, your family nigga. So that's I say my free software we do nigga. Until your dressing communicates to others. It's very, very important. Let us not underestimate that fact. Now, I think Makasa asking Wahada. We will be a friend John T. Mully. John T. Mulloy, yeah. Ocho book we no didn't say dress for success. Dress for success. Now when you book no, one day if baby or you can say empirical evidence. I say or you practical or you research about it. And on one kasa, say obe dress it at the piska asiska. It do ye first 1 hour or dress it or she tra and or she shirt not or tacky in and or born a belt and now she the shoe. It was shower or see the minia. Me sell kakra me call we na me case scanning adie no now from the book no first 1 hour suit dress one more tie or tacky in unya $7.23 or record be bia umunya book na am can dress for success by John T. Molloy uhwe ma abu the record no unya $7.2. The next 1 hour and okobo tie at the torso. And also say or this says car. We you know only $15.8. And of course suit at the car home. No say says car. We you know only $26. And this is what he said in this book. I say what a person wears is directly related to the success he will have in life. From the research now, you know, or say attire na send any fans say or more tie, you know, of course it's $7.23. And or quite a tie, a boss no says car. And who say onya $15. Then or suit a car hono, onya $26. And okay, say our dressing communicate to people who we are and who we can be. Now, sadly, no na and our conformance as because they believe that our dressing communicates to people who we can be. It is sometimes obishia no say sildia no says ka, but who sala in intentanya. But now it works because they know say so what dress ya they see you to be a good person. I'm not saying say we are dressing you be good, but our dressing always communicates to others. If you are good, dress well. That is what we should understand. Now, say yes, then now it was say modern say dress here. There was I think last time I said this thing. There was one I think it was a bank. Or a bank or a school, Bibisa. And now it was a marketing company, yeah. Now sales echo from every Friday, yeah. Now the only one say manga, I do Friday attire 5-day wear near there. It do Friday and sales echo from. And I said, find it out. I said from Monday to 8 now sales was about 5-day echo from. 80 the find about some find a research no say dressing Monday attire on Friday. And dressing Monday attire on Friday. That's week, sales on Friday. Echo so essence almost every previous 5 days. And this was the research conclusion of the research findings. The kind say Saturday no on Friday, that idea of Friday way no. It affect workers no way of working. Attitude towards work is totally affected because it's Friday. You dress the PBR, it's attitude is also affected. True or false? It's true. Some chronicle school say Friday we are buy home fee. Friday. As Monday. It's not as school say with this school they do Friday biano ye pon and no check neatness. Monday you assembly are checking neatness. But Friday they ye pon na near bobia because the idea of Friday there will be dirty. And it affects and it's to Friday we are school money be na you can't say yeah attitude no and yeah because you declare a day now as a day people can just put on anything, people can just do anything they want. That is it. And I know engineer they are listen. There was a tear say Nema also consider and sign your address. Number 1, consider God's law. Shinyanko kwansem. Send a radiasem ekasa edify your home farm. What does God says? God talks about women. Say a mansion tardy say. As simple as that. A mansion tardy say. Now tardy say no. And then I'm tardy say. Because in the book of Hebrews no, chapter 6 no say when I put my nyansa e papa ne bonimu. Say ade we and say we Christo ni ebo so a unim. You never say miniskirt ya na say I can't answer that question. But Bible says tardy I can't decide for you say genstra na men genstra she we and I mean she miniskirt mean she I can't decide for you. But Bible say tardy say any ewu ade it ade de dress say shamefacedness and near ewu ade it is a wo tardy no na wo hu guo na wo say wani still na hu guo no ma that means wani na ewu ade. You don't have that sense of judgment to see say ade no here and answer enye it with moderation and sense of blush. The sense of blush are near esoda ho to see idea and answer enye. That's what the book of 1 Timothy 2 verse number 1 to 10 no eche. Now after so idea was a check yenkwaje our salvation very very important. Yenhwe minomie enkwaje ma ya tad shebi epese na ya ho fa epese fa e ma yenko bonsam jim enti no coming back to question number say no Kristo ni ba okodware nsuo mu a the okopu site the only condition is say shepikini ana meboa pikini no so no ene the inner garment na wo hye no pe ordinarily in ordinary time utimi nyi wo top you can say the other kata your breast no any the other kata ha no utimi nyi mfa nante dia adenti na wo de kopu site dia we are okay. So the answer will be say if environment now wo kona wo ho no ebe mo aye naked then there's no need to go. I don't say utimi dare so mo obetima kopu site ebi oba no friends girls ma kwa kodware e wa abra enye environment who show nakedness to people. But when there is an occasion men in a church here na wo Kristo ni ba we see because of say a pool site you are okay to share panties any say man na ma wo say no bibia go no then you lack the sense of blush. Bible can one sem no eti na no Yesu Kristo ka sem say yenkwaje enti say yensa bonkum ebe me akwabonsam jemu a yenya dai yemfa sekan na yemfa yensa bonkum no to wo na yentwa ento ntwene na wo say for it is better for you to go to heaven with only one hand than to go to hell with 2 hands. And no be no can say adebia for in any way can be comfortable. But however, in it making you comfortable, no, it can lead you to hell. Put those things aside. Pastor says here. Also when ni ba ko mema no so when ni way ebe mo akwabonsam jemu a fasekan ne to ani no na yedai na to twene. For it is better to go to hell heaven with 1 eye than to go to heaven with 2 eyes. That's what God was telling about our salvation. It's me no, any me no. Enye baby ni betima dress the pebia de akọ. Se baby a okọ no be determine what to dress. Not the over dress no enso na me ni dia don't go there. As simple as that. Edi ba akọ campus no mo de frame me say Abante na o say suit e dey call lake you can say sea. Ne okay university ye call epo ho. Na e ko du yo no obia ro no ho e dare nsom na me suit na me nam ho. Eti Legoni UCC institution never in no. That's why they know me. I didn't even know say as at now student back university kwa e bi ate case no say ese boy bi share suit e dey ko epo ko dare nsom. So what I believe they say minimu jahe me share me boxer short and na nam ha no mo a e dey time minimu kroya sa ko pay opu ho a na ko share boxer short. Is it wise? Of course no. So why should we allow the environment to decide our dressing for us? It is logic. It is no. Paul can say we are sinners anko. So we can't conform to the wisdom of the world, because the wisdom of the world will always be foolishness in the sight of God. Excuse my word. Pants and bra onye. But beginning now, question pool site no. Any pants and bra ni na ya pet and I'm a boy. And I wouldn't hear na see a pool site no ko na wudare wo ho. Ye go share before the year. O say ho kwagu na kata. Is it wise? Of course no. So we are not saying seven kujari won soon, but we are telling you say where you are going can never ever decide your dress for you. What will decide is God. So consider God's law, consider your own salvation, and also consider the salvation of other people. Because you care about other people's salvation. Why do you want to preach to people to convert into the lost church? But one person will dressing ever converting the panaba. Now, one person will dress him in the panel. But also, what can I say? One person will go preaching. Every church of Christ in the evangelist mode, the child dress come out. Then, when we go class, and I hope you have one thing there, or say who go, we are okay. Also, the on share was same. So, are you converting people into Christ, or you are converting people from Christ? So, this is what we should look at. Let us consider other people's salvation. Maybe I know asun enti ye de besi ase. We are upon kan ho na ono moyen na yentene nsem yase. Say any day na amen. So question betima busame. Enya.
Yera se wo nchechira wo de ma anyumbre. Say ehun hia papa. Ehun hia pa na ade ba ko am ma steady ehun say man no mema problem, but man problem no ano odin. Esan say man no esuasu omo ho. Say nails omo hye. Onyankopon ama rekama. Obetimi esi no fine. Wan hye nails na ne ho nto no. Me ho bebre. Ana etinwi so omo hye no so eno so another factor. Say obadi say osisi ho ma wo ye neat. Bobo anu akobo etinwi bi timi bo red, yellow, green, a whole lot. So na obeden akoka asema kire obi say on sachira na adwene. Because wa ho fama na wa mama no. Me say ye de wo krom. Ye wo shop a ye ton materials. Na times no wo hwe man ni bi dress on de ba ho a na fe wa ofere kra se wo tran shop ho no. Cause sen wa ye no ho de abegina ho onanimu say me pe material we twama me. Meanwhile in Church of Christ for man so be brace ah no be kro mo dress de ba wo. Etini say dressing and same way mo in fact edin so serious edin papa as yan hwe here dressing be braid nipa be braid be ko bron sam gem. Cause a man is sua omo ho ana me de yesi me yetete kwa oko school a or dress me de yesi me dressing yefe esan say na me ye me hu nti no na ono so usua ne nyonko ba enti sa de we de sua we sua no ma me ye fe ni agro kra serious na wo ba kroma na hu say ebi wan hwe a ebi tese wo twene ho a won ti ase ase yi wani ase me nyi wani tese wona mu kromo a tese areho okay,
it's very, very serious. It's very, very serious. And you know, dressing, no send the canon. You see, one thing about dressing, and they say there are things you want to now upon and spelling it out in decided mind. Say Obaba Shanamere and I want Shanamere. Those things are not. I mean, and then ma now upon I can't want to say Yan answer me and yet. Name God was so wise say or chair say young dressing modest. Okay, it's no. Yenny Akasa any parents will be dressing your modest. Obey my son more not a modest. Okay, it doesn't say Ocean more money. That's not God hasn't said that. But Moreno bet machina immodest. That's what it has here. Timmy no so sa obey you Timmy no I modest, obey my Timmy no I immodest. It's no a brilliant Naka person chemo, sa Casa used to say at Adrimutie, any Bible Chimu Adrimutie, a man fanta dear share any near who had an Adrimutie and a camon. Casana or Kayano, time it's not a key be munita. Say yet Tissa Casanasia. Obey your Christonia onim say or dress or adwumutie ene so da ho ne sana man dress no niki so nya wie peye okay ti or say e far back to the elementary principles of the word of God na what here it is very very true na send o kan no dressing na nya man no dressing there anoden me friend bi out abam ho e fi ma me ade bi ma no na o se oba oya no ka say na chade area mu ha say mumre and I say me say I say that oh baby from my area I see gate if see me just listen no why just care for the car be pim o se ke ni ma me hu no kwa no so na me say me ba me hu hwe o me hu hwe o so hu me say me hu hwe and it's dangerous KNUSC for girls no in fact I know one thing and one time woman be cancel bi na me kota ade o ase o no adum bi hostel mo side o na girl bi address atwam na some ma me can say emrante yi bre aso ma me panyini pa o aso no me man no mu bre pa o and you see for a woman to have pity on emrante no because of the girl bi address it's very deep obefa say it's very deep or no say boys no bre that's what the woman saw. Yeah, bro. Okay, question.
Yeah, that's it. If 2 Corinthians 7, verse 7, no chrono, maybe say, Yensie home fem, and then honam FM. And tea a yammy no home fem, or the radia as a mayajuma, honam fem so and them say, well, Adornment, oh boy, and yes, Ray, and what didn't say. Ahuni die ne be kama mpo apamna dem gram me kai quotation me say wo hia oba bi ne wo fura ana ne dress ne ya adwamamfo dressing and ti dressing bi how dress ya sebi na akoye bibi ho be da say
yeah that's ebe ni ntina ka be kan no be compare oba wa dress yi no oba that say adwamani na bible no e compare say no that's eti there e was say yeti ase no na ma is that I say member no move say and I one the member no bre and say you see men has a challenge and God knows now upon him now on a year sa member challenge when umuhu oba no ho egu ho they are easy tempted to last after oba no it God has warned men now upon what member one and say it's a challenge okay. Now, but modern says a challenge, ube overcome. Yentini. And with that, Job can say on the near day, aquapam. Because I'm on the near aquapam, also be say a can harm. And say a madressia, they make that challenge easy for men. But if you don't dress well, you make the challenge difficult for them. Now, obi challenge a difficult, and many pana. That's what be so hini. What's it I say? Sana problem that here. It ever be a Christian for me, man. We have to always make sure say we overcome the challenge. But say a man ever one member on that part, a challenge na day, easy. It's who Christian but they can say make the challenge easy for men. As simple as that. That makes you a different from ladies in the world. Me that say. I don't know why. Now one can say say ni day. Amen.